The Cy Miller Community Arena, originally known as the Cornwall Community Arena and the Water Street Arena, was built out of necessity after the Victoria Rink was razed during the Great Fire in 1933. The Cornwall Community Arena Fund was initiated after a public opinion poll showed that the committee could raise enough money to build a professional-looking artificial ice hockey arena. Thus, in 1936, a committee was formed by Gertie Miron, Lyon Miller, Clarence Markle, and Aaron Horowitz. On May 4, 1936, the Citizens Committee issued their first stocks at $10 a share. By the 29th of May, they had met their objective and raised $60,000 with 2,300 shareholders. The arena was constructed in 3 months and opened on November 16, 1936. As a result of community support, the Cornwall Community Arena was a fitting name for the new facility. The arena was officially opened by Mayor Aaron Horowitz, Massena Mayor R.B. Newton, and Cecil Duncan, the president of the Canadian Amateur Hockey Association. A crowd of 2,000 people shoehorned themselves inside and watched as the Cornwall Flyers beat the Cornwall Canadiens 3-1. At the time of the opening game, the arena was illuminated brighter than the famous Montreal Forum, boasting 32 big 1,000-watt bulbs. The arena played host to its share of hockey history. Possibly the first significant history was made in 1942. During World War II, the Army had commandeered several Montreal and area arenas from summer to fall for training purposes. That year, the Boston Bruins, who used Montreal as a training camp base, couldn't set up in Montreal, so they chose Cornwall. Prior to the 1942-43 NHL season, the Montreal Canadiens signed Maurice Richard to a pro contract. On October 22, 1942, Les Canadiens traveled to Cornwall and faced off against the Bruins in an exhibition match. Head coach Dick Irvin put his rookie into the lineup on a line with Elmer Locke and Tony Demers. At 16:23 of the second period, Locke gave the Canadiens a 2-1 lead. Maurice Richard drew an assist, his first point as a Montreal Canadien. Then, at 3:40 into the third period, Richard took a pass from Demers and beat the Bruins goaltender Frankie Grimsek. The goal was the Rockets' first ever goal in a Canadiens uniform. The Canadiens won that game 6-2, and the man who later would be known as the Rocket had scored his first goal against the Boston Bruins at the Cornwall Community Arena. The Montreal Canadiens also set up briefly in Cornwall, extending their stay due to available ice time. And they had numerous competitive opponents. The Habs and Bruins, although of NHL caliber, played games against newly formed Army clubs, the local Cornwall Flyers, and a senior team from Lachine. Maurice Richard scored his first couple of points at the Cornwall Community Arena in 1942, and the very next season he played in Cornwall again. As Richard was getting suited up in the visitors' dressing room, Coach Dick Irvin came in with some news from the Montreal General Hospital. "Your wife just gave birth to a baby girl," Irvin told Richard, as Maurice Richard slipped his number 15 jersey over his head. "It's a baby girl, 9 pounds, informed Irvin. As Maurice Richard was being congratulated by his teammates in the dressing room, Irvin turned to the trainer. "A 9-pound baby? Give him number 9 for the game tonight." Richard kept number 9 for the rest of his Hall of Fame career, making it one of the most famous numbers in hockey. In 1961, the community arena refused to pay their $6,900 first mortgage, which was held by Sun Life Assurance. With the completion of the work on the Seaway and the closure of the cotton mills and an ensuing economic crisis, City Council did not want to bail the arena out. Instead, Mayor Nick Kinebb was able to secure a provincial grant of $5,000. The city then paid the remainder of the debt and became the sole owner of the facility. From this point on, the stocks, which were sold to the public in 1936 for $10, retained historic value only. The arena has been home to many hockey clubs, but has also been a home and a stopping place for traveling circus shows, Canadian lacrosse championships, the big bands of the 50s and 60s, and who will ever forget Maple Leaf wrestling events. with Andre the Giant being the biggest man to square off in the arena ever. Between 1969 and 1976, during part of their time in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, the Cornwall Royals called the Water Street Arena home. At the time, the arena seated approximately 1,700 people, but on any given night, well over 2,000 were crammed in the place. The standing room only sections would have people standing on risers to see over the people in front of them, or hanging from the rafters in a lofty perch. There was really no better place to watch a game of hockey. The Cornwall Royals' historic 1972 Memorial Cup run played out at the Water Street Arena. Eventually, the team moved across the street in 1976 to the brand new Cornwall Civic Complex. The next hockey team to call the Water Street Arena home was the Cornwall Colts. They played their first game on October 1st, 1992 at the Civic Complex, but the following year they called the Water Street Arena home as they moved from the Civic Complex when the American Hockey League Cornwall Aces arrived in 1993. The Colts moved 3 more times before the Cy Miller closed its doors. In 1994, the arena was renamed in honor of Cy Miller, the City of Cornwall's Director of Parks and Recreation from 1963 until his retirement on December 31st, 1994. On Sunday, March 27th of 2011, in one last hurrah, the city's Recreation Division invited everyone in Cornwall to come down to the Cy Miller Arena for one last opportunity to skate on the ice. The city was preparing for the new multi-sports facility and wanted to honor the memory of the Cy Miller Arena with one last skate at the Grand Old Barn. Hundreds showed up for the free skate, as did the Miller family. The last recorded hockey game was played in the afternoon when Cornwall beat Brockville 4-3 to win the Eastern Ontario Championship. Later that night, during a men's league friendly, Mike McDonnell took a pass from his son Trenham and slid it past goalie Jason LaBelle. The goal would be the last ever goal scored at the Cornwall Community, Water Street, Cy Miller Arena.